if you say so.
Hello, y'all. It's a delay, but we know y'all are there because you're in the comments. I hate YouTube.
Don't hate YouTube.
I hate YouTube for a plethora of reasons, okay?
No, don't hate it.
Uh-oh.
It's doing the best it can.
It's doing the best it can. That's a lie.
Just trying to help out the situation.
Okay.
I mean, they're trying to compete with some things currently, so.
Say again?
I said they're trying to compete with some stuff right now that is making it slightly obnoxious.
How's everybody
AKA
doing?
Tim's TikToks. I'm good. How are y'all?
Pretty good.
I'm good.
Like
I'm
we're
tired.
entering holiday chaos, I feel like.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I've got wine, so we're good.
Oh, that's what I forgot to
Go
grab.
get
was
it.
my wine. Yeah, I'm gonna go get my drink.
Not the wine on a Thursday.
Girl.
I got
wanted-
trashed on a Tuesday. I don't know what you're talking about.
I know. I wanted it
Don't
on a
judge me.
Monday. I wanted it on any day that ends in day.
I'm so tired.
It's so funny.
I am so tired.
No, don't be tired.
No, I'm about to take a shower and go to sleep right after this. No lie. I don't even know what I'm about to do. I gotta get a video up tomorrow.
That's what I will be doing after this. So
supposedly I should film, but I could just get up early and do it.
Today's my last day of Vlogmas. That's enough for me.
I should have done it. I should have.
I said 9 days. That was it. And all my videos are 4 minutes. Don't at me.
Listen,
I like them, Bree.
yeah, they've been fun.
Yeah.
I was like,
Look, I said at the very beginning when I said I was going to do Vlogmas that don't count on 12, but that's my goal. And they come out when they come out.
The only reason I'm doing it is because it takes less brain power than filming a sit-down video for me right now to just do vlogs.
Vlogs are better that way, yeah.
Yeah. I actually filmed 3 long vlogs. One is over an hour. Oh, God. And it's edited already up, but they're going to come out every Thursday until the second Thursday of January. So it's
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I think Vlogmas makes me appreciate only doing 2 videos a week.
Yeah, I do like 2 videos a week, and I'm actually getting ready for the 12 days of Bookmas, like starting on the 14th. So I'm trying to like pre-film and edit stuff right now, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. People that got stuff ready before December, I don't know how you guys did it.
I don't know how the hell they did it either, honestly, because that was like trying to battle putting up regular content and all types of stuff, and then on top of this, doing live shows. And I'm telling you, on the 25th, I don't know when I'm about to get another break. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Whatever. What is everybody reading? Let's talk about that.
Saga.
What's a book?
I'm like, I haven't read basically anything else December except for maybe some manga, but like Saga.
Really?
Who has time to read right now?
I have been in the biggest reading slump since like October, and I feel like it's just getting worse. So Saga is at least making me read, so we're good.
No, I'm reading so much.
Sometimes you just have to embrace the slump.
You do, yeah.
And write it out.
Like,
write it out.
I've just been watching like Gilmore Girl reruns, like literally just like put on the TV and do nothing else.
Yeah.
Hey, Shay.
Hey, Shay. I'm reading The Survivors by Jane Harper.
Okay.
I'm reading Bayou Christmas Disappearance. Vina, don't at me. I'm not done. De Niro's. Oh, sorry, I finished that. My bad. There's stuff I finished and didn't like. I'm using the Ashley method of 99% until I'm ready to do.
Right, yeah. Let you remember when you finish it, yeah.
Right. And then I did The Witch's Hand. And then I'm trying to finish False Witness by Karen Slaughter. It's just a really hard book to get through.
You've been reading that for a minute, haven't you?
Literally like a month.
Mm-hmm. So you've been reading that Karen Slaughter book for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right. There's nothing wrong with that.
And I also started a project that I already mentioned, but it's going to take a long time. I don't know when I'm going to finish it, but I also started the first book of the
series of unfortunate events.
There we go.
My childhood.
I've never read it, so I'm here for a ride.
My childhood. Loved those books.
I'm reading Ray Bear.
Yes.
I need to read that.
What? Yes.
Late.
Late. You're super late.
I know.
It ain't right.
I'm also behind on that book.
And
so.
I've
You haven't read it yet, Izzy?
No, I keep meaning to do it for
I had the book for a year.
It's hiding on my Libro FM app, and I just don't open it all.
Wow. We got to cancel Izzy.
Yeah, that's fine.
And Erica, what you talking about? Erica too.
Erica been canceled when she said, I just started it. Mug, where were you?
Started it.
When everybody else was all here in these streets.
I was waiting for the hype to die down.
Oh no.
But it hasn't. So, and now the second book is out. So,
yeah,
once I heard about the cliffhanger, I said, okay, I'll wait.
Yeah.
Oh, for the second one to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I got the book. I supported the author. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine. I gave her money.
Actually, did you see we got tagged by our cousin BB today?
Yeah, I saw BB gave us a little shout out on Twitter today. So what?
Our cousin BB.
Aww.
I mean, he lived right down the street.
I'm like, hey, cousin, and everything. I said,
right, you did. You definitely did tweet at that man and say, hey, cousin. I said, Bree on Beyonce internet acting foolish already.
I call him cousin all the time. That's probably why he follows me, because I call him cousin.
You call him cousin. Yeah, I saw that. Okay, so me reading, I just finished my third read. This book came out last year. I've read it 3 times in the past year and some change. Love Boat Type A.
Oh yeah.
By Abigail Heng-Wen. The sequel comes out in January, and I got an e-arc of it. So I didn't really need to reread it. It actually was pointless for me to reread that book because I've read it so much in the past year that I didn't forget anything at all. I forgot nothing. So I just finished that one today, and then yesterday I finished You'll Be the Death of Me, which is Karen McManus's new book.
Man, I hate the review you gave for it yesterday because you and I like Karen.
I like Karen, but Karen ain't been hitting lately. Her last one that she did too, The Cousins, that was like a 3.5.
It wasn't given.
And You'll Be the Death of Me is about the same. It wasn't really giving any. It wasn't giving me what I wanted. And then I read this translated. It's supposed to be juvenile, but shoot, the way that bad boy read, it almost felt like it was a teen book. It's The Everything I Have Lost. It's this girl who grows up in a town in Mexico, but like it's extremely violent and dangerous. Like her mom won't even let her go outside, type of stuff. And the author is like does not hold back at all. There's no censoring of anything. It's pretty wild. I know when I did my live last night, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna rate or review that one just yet, but that's what I finished. And I literally finished Love Boat Type A like maybe 2 hours ago, so I haven't picked anything up since then. That's about it. Let's dive in so we're not here all night.
Yeah.
Bree, do you have your summary ready for us?
Yeah, Bree, you give the summary, please.
All right. Saga Volume 5, everybody. And we're going to start off with us going on a little trip. We got the man with the horns, Marco, and we got Prince Robot the Fourth going on this trip to try to find out what happened to Alana, the kid, and Grin.
On their favorite rocket ship.
On their favorite rocket ship. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be real. Prince Fourth is not about it. He's trying to live that calm life, be peaceful with his little son, who he gave another name.
Bo, you just skipped to damn volume 6.
I was like, wait, that's
Let's go on here.
Right?
Let's stay with 5. I'm gonna read it. They're on the trip, whatever. And I wrote Alana was reunited and Prince 4 killed the assassin. Was we supposed to spoil it?
I mean, if you're here, you're gonna get spoiled.
All
That's
right.
just reality of the
Just
situation.
saying. So the way the prince didn't give a shit, he killed dude. Dude's done now. So when we talked about dude, we talked about in volume 4 about this guy coming in and trying to get justice for his son, and bang, 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 I shot you down. Bang, 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 you hit the ground. You know the song. So that went down. Also, there was a lot of death in Saga volume 5, but not as much as 4 in my opinion. While they're trying to find out where the mom, the kid, and where everyone is at, something happened to their rocket ship. With this, I'm saying this because I thought it was like so funny. So something happened to the rocket ship, and the guys, is that her name? The tree?
The what?
Yuma, I think.
Yuma?
Is that her name? Uma? So Uma was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna fix the thing.
Oh, yeah.
And the guys was like, no, I'm gonna do it. So Uma went, boop, hit him on the head. He's done, right? He's done. Buddy out. Then she said, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna save the day. And she said, I'm gonna go out how I came in, high as fuck. And
That was a good page.
It was such a good page. That page makes me laugh every time.
Listen, the best panel.
It's so good.
I was like, yes, I love it. I love it. Gwendolyn and the brand, what happened to them? Unfortunate. I also was not prepared for them to get the little seed from the monster, and the monster was sucking himself off. I don't think I was quite prepared.
That art, I died.
No,
I was like, I did not need to see this.
Yeah. And I loved how Hazel talked about sacrifice in this volume, and she talked about no one wins. The ultimate sacrifice is death, and that definitely pretty much summed up what this volume is about. Any additional ads?
No, but I'm putting that clip on Instagram right now and tagging it as, if you know, then you know.
I said, now we're gonna wait till he suck himself off, and then he gonna jizz all over the place, and then we just gonna catch the.
But she said she was surprised at the velocity and the.
When I got to that panel, I was like, "Is he?"
Yes, he was.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yes,
I was like,
yes, he was. Yes, he was sucking himself off.
He did that. He said,
"Yep,
I'm doing it. I'm going hard."
I do have to appreciate the sort of like shock humor at that part though, because of what happens like
Right
immediately after in that story. Like it's so juxtaposed that it was a good placement for it. But when you turn that page, you're not expecting that.
Yeah, it's sad.
I cried. I literally cried at volume 5.
Yeah,
I did.
It is a sad volume, to be honest with you.
So
It is.
sad.
This is the first time I think I've actually had like full on like I cried at that part.
Yeah.
So
these 2 volumes are a lot.
Yeah, they are.
They are. It's emotionally. These I think these are kind of those stepping stones to how emotionally taxing volume 7, 8, and 9 are going to end up being when it's all said and done.
I agree. You can see it kind of gearing up to be there.
You can see it kind of working its way up to be super super emotional.
yeah.
I just can't get over Yuma's part, and like the way that it was described was like, what was the line? She died. She
As she
died
lived.
the
Died as
same
she
way
Like
lived.
she
she came
lives.
in.
And,
Hi.
like,
Yeah,
she died, she lived.
Yeah.
high as fuck. I just can't. I cannot get past that. I really
It was
cannot.
good.
I can't get past that. I really hate that the brand does get killed off because it was just so it was so it was unexpected, but I feel
Mhm.
like Hazel's narration kind of built up to it, but I can't lie and sit here and say like when it happened I wasn't like, "Oh shit." Like I
Mhm.
mean, you know, I thought maybe the brand was going to like be there to help Hazel and
I still feel like she's gonna come back. I mean, y'all read it, but I really want her to come back.
Well, this volume 6 is the farthest I've ever read, so I don't know anything else.
Yeah,
And
only
even
thing
these
I
two,
got
I
7.
forgot that she died. Actually, that was part of like the whole narration structure of Hazel up until then, and like that culmination is actually why I started crying because I was like, I forgot, I completely forgot,
Mhm.
and just everything that Hazel said up until there about like the parents and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
had
I forgot.
forgotten a lot of volume five, right? Yeah, 5.
Mhm.
I found, and I was surprised by it because I thought I remembered more of it than I did, but I actually was remembering volume 6.
Hmm.
I didn't remember anything from either one of these volumes, not going to sit
Me
here and lie.
neither.
It was like reading them for the first time because I forgot that they ended up in that facility. I kind of remember like when I saw the teacher,
That's
kind
what
of
I
was like,
remembered from
The
yeah, I
teacher
was
looked
like, okay,
familiar.
she looks familiar. Yeah.
And the Miss whatever, the lady, I remember her.
But yeah, yeah, there was so, I think for me, it was just, once again, it was a couple points that really hit home for me. Like when Hazel was talking about the one thing about being a parent is you give up everything. And when I was reading it, I was like, yeah, preaching to the choir. You literally give up everything, time, possessions, intimacy. Like none of that exists in the same way it does before you have kids. And sometimes you don't realize how much you do end up sacrificing in being a parent until those sacrifices are kind of made. And like it's just been something that I've been thinking about. I think it was just the timing in which I read this because it's something that I've been thinking about like all week, about sacrifices that, you know, like I've made for my child, sacrifices that I feel like, you know, my parents have made for me. And I was just like, dang, that really kind of just hits home. But the way that volume 5 kind of opened up is once again rereading the series, being older and kind of realizing what what Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples were doing with it. It was just intriguing to see how she talks about how people are drafted. And I was like, we did the same thing. We drafted, you know what I'm saying? Like people, ordinary people who had no interest, no investment in the war were being told that they now had to fight for their country. And it was great that she also pointed out that the people who, when they, because when I looked at the commercial, like at that video thing, at the movie thing, I kind of see stuff like that sometimes as like being like a little bit on the propaganda side. But I like how she emphasized that all these people who were drawn in, regardless of what reasons that they're drawn in, they were all poor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I said, dang, I don't know how I didn't catch a lot of this stuff like the first time, like the connections, like the dots that are being kind of drawn right now. Like I didn't catch any of that the first time that I heard it. I don't know if y'all did, but this time around it's like a completely different read for me.
There was a lot of social commentary.
Yeah.
In volume 5. And I said, when I was reading it, I was like, wow, this is getting a little preachy. And I kind of didn't, there was part of me that didn't like it, but then a part of me that was like, this is so spot on that you can't help but be like, this part of the story needs to be told. How war is just, it's a mess, and that the ultimate price is death, someone's death, and people that don't even have a stake in what they're fighting for. So, and how unnecessary it is for the most part. So
It's definitely heavy-handed, but I agree. Like, it's in that way that it's like almost it almost has to be. I don't know how you can't get heavy-handed about it too. At the same time, like I'm not sure how you could dodge, like how you could express the literal like horrors of war, and then also be like, hey, like like whatever, let's go over here and be chill about it.
Yeah, I was appreciative of how they explained it in this one, because we've had those questions of like, how did they actually go from like the planet and the moon to everywhere else fighting the war? And I think they explained it really, really well as like talking about like the actual commentary of it, because we never really got answers for how everything moved from one place to the other, and how the TVs got into it, And they definitely,
and it felt reflective of how like the war in Afghanistan and stuff was, right? Like people are just back here sitting at home, like living their lives, unaware, like, and I mean, a lot of wars are this way too, obviously, but like for our frame of reference of a recent one, that's what it was. Like if you knew someone who was in the military or any way involved, a lot of people just kind of, blinders on, kind of that we were still even there almost in a weird way. It's very like it's very strange, and I was like, oh, this feels like a real weird commentary on this. I mean, I appreciated the commentary on it, but
I also felt like when we were reading about that, I was like, wow, it goes to show the influence of technology on our daily lives, because at first people were just walking around, like you saw the art, it was just people walking around and being like, okay, I'm going to serve, and seeing propaganda and being like, yeah, I'm going to serve. And then as it went on, the years of war, you saw people with headsets on, playing movies, playing games. And I was just like, the influence of technology that's had on people's decision about whether they want to participate in war or even think about war, because they're just so distracted that they actually don't have to if they don't want to.
Yeah, it's very kind of it's kind of like that line that was in that, I'm gonna misquote it, but it was a panel in which Hazel had addressed the fact that people then were involved in the war from a very passive almost perspective at that point, and you saw the ribbons, kind of like how people have ribbons on their doors now, or on their mailboxes, and there were ribbons on the light post, and I said, my goodness, it's a very like, I'm interested, but I have a life to live, so I'm really not interested because it's not directly impacting me. And I feel like that's kind of the attitude, whether we like to admit it or not. It's kind of the attitude that a lot of American citizens have. Like, it's not any time that we've been in a war the last war that was fought on American soil was what, the Civil War?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah. And it's not every war that we fight in, it's not directly in our faces at all times until you turn on the TV. But now, like you said, Brie, technology is such a fact. You turn it off. You don't want to pay attention to that. So you distract yourself with everything else, and you show your support by putting ribbons.
By putting the magnet on your car.
Yes.
And oh, look at me.
Yep.
I'll thank you for your service, but I won't give two shits about what your care is when you leave, or trauma you endured.
Trauma you endure, and what the hell your country does not do for you when you get back.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate how they don't get me started. I hate that.
Yep. I messed around with, this is kind of off topic a little bit, but I messed around and watched a documentary a few years ago about women who serve and what's happened to them when they've come back and asking for like assistance from the military, and they've been told to go to like welfare. And it's like, yo, bro, like that's crazy that you people literally putting their life on the lines, traumatized. Lives will never be the same from what they've seen and what they've had to go through. And it's not I'm not going to say that it's in every situation, but in a lot of situations that I've seen, like here in my city, it's pretty tough. It's tough. It's interesting that he pointed that out, just in that, with Fionnual's drawing in those couple of panels was really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's a panel in which there's a guy who's outside the landfall. Is it a medical center or something? And he's pushing a shopping cart.
Mm-hmm.
And I immediately thought of a homeless vet.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
Mm-hmm. That's what they typically do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how could you not, though? Think of that.
Something you see all the time.
Yeah.
Something that you see all the time. Gwendolyn did not piss me off as much as she's had in like previous volumes. But I feel like she didn't play her role wasn't as big.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think she did as much talking and stuff in volume 5, and then she wasn't in volume 6 at all. But
No, she wasn't in
Yeah.
volume 6 at all. But I feel like she's coming out with a fucking vengeance in 7 and 8.
I would hope so, just because like I sort of was like, where is she? Like I'm waiting for her to come back. So
But I wonder what happened, because kind of thinking about volume 6, when we see what's his face?
the will.
The Will again. First of all, I forgot that he completely just lost it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what grief will do to you. Grief will
Mhm.
tear you up.
Yeah.
He was purposely ingesting heroin
Mm-hmm.
to hallucinate seeing the stalk.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, bro, you literally have completely lost it all. And I did not like what he said to Sophie.
Yeah.
I did not like that at all. I was
Mm-hmm.
very disappointed to see that that's what he said. Grief or not, pain or not, he did not need to say that to the little girl.
No. It was
Yeah.
terrible.
When I read that, I was like, whoa, I need you to back the bus up.
Yeah, he came on too strong. But Hazel did say in the commentary that that's the moment in which he changed completely.
Well, yeah, because he seemed to care about Sophie a whole lot before everything happened, and so that was very shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did. Because he was the one that was telling Gwendolyn stop calling her. So what was Gwendolyn calling her?
Slave girl,
Slave
right?
girl.
Slave girl?
Well, they
something
gave her a name. I don't know if she was calling her something else, but
They gave
he gave her the name Sophie.
Sophie.
She
and
didn't have a
then
name.
and Gwendolyn was calling her something else, and he was like, stop calling her that.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Her name is Sophie. So there was some emotional attachment between him and Sophie did what she did because clearly she's emotionally attached to him as well.
Well, and he named her Sophie after the brand, though, and I feel like that's also probably a big part of it too. Like you named her after your sister who died because they were trying to save you.
Yeah.
But it does not excuse anything he did. But like I'm sure there was something to that too.
Oh yeah, he completely lost it.
You can see that in volume 6. Yeah.
Yeah, he completely.
I mean, I feel like we watched like a lot of the characters that we've been following so far kind of lose their minds a little over these 2 volumes.
A little or a lot.
Prince Robot, I also feel like completely like kind of lost his mind by the end of volume 6 a little bit there with his weird farm.
Yeah, he wants to just go back to like be his kid's a squire, and he's just like a knight.
Yeah, like, I was like, this is weird. You've lost your mind a little here, buddy.
Okay, but you know what's crazy? I don't 100% dislike him. It's weird because before I was like, dang, I don't like this man.
Mm-hmm.
But through the course of volume 5 and 6, like I did not completely dislike him as a character. I don't think he's going to end up being too good when it's all said and done.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't completely dislike him. Like, he's one of those characters where it's like he's horrible because at the end of the day, he's doing this because he has some self-interest. But they work well together, and that's probably
that is very true.
They do though. Like it was fun him to be on a caper with Marco, kind of, trying to find Hazel and stuff.
Well, I think it gave him a little humanity for whatever that is, just because he had to work with him. And so we got to see that a little bit more instead of just whatever crazy like vengeance thing he was going on at the beginning of the series.
I was he definitely showed no mercy with what was the guy's name?
Dango.
Dango said, "Your Highness." The man said, "Huh?"
He said no.
Give me my son. And shot him. I said,
Man, he didn't kill you. He was like, "Let me explain."
Nope.
This man said, "Let me explain." If you would just,
I just didn't blame him.
No,
I didn't blame him either.
No.
I said, because the way that, and the thing is, I also thought I was like, dude, Alana and the grandma warned you that these bandits ain't right.
I loved that.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, this is not a good plan. And then it just backfired all over his face, and he was just like, shit.
Well, he needed that.
Fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
He did, but
He did. No, he said, "Oh, me dead and go."
I mean, he would have been anyway. So
But
it was either that.
I feel like though I get his intentions, because his intentions were right. I think it was true that him being in a lower socioeconomic class, his son died from a disease that was curable. You know what I'm saying? That it was a simple fix. And I get that rage, I get that anger, but you've got to think somewhere in the back of your mind, I'm kidnapping the prince's son. This probably is not going to go well for me.
He coming from my throat, I'm dead. I probably won't survive this.
He had to know that.
Well, I mean, I guess it's better than him just killing the kid. Like, I feel like that also, again, he's not a good character. He went about stuff the wrong way, but it gives, again, a little bit of humanity to these characters like this, because, like, he was never going to hurt any single kid, but anybody else is fair game. Like, he killed so many people, but, like, he was nice to Hazel. He kept the baby. Again, not a good character, but I appreciated that. I also appreciated the fact that they talked about the use of the R word from the previous books.
Yes.
Mango was the vessel for giving the, like, we know we did wrong.
Yes.
And I really appreciated that they finally addressed that, which I know it probably took a while to get there, but.
Yeah. No, I did appreciate that too, that he was the vessel through which.
It still was like, man, we're doing this again.
Yeah. But it was nice for them to say, don't use that word. My son is special needs. Like, so it was nice for them to clean that up.
Yeah, I feel like that was like their acknowledge that they were doing stuff wrong in the first place. Let us correct it, and then hopefully we will never see it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two characters that I don't like. Well, it's not even both of them that I don't like. They're reporters.
Yeah.
I don't like the one with the glasses, whatever his name is.
Oh,
he's the actual reporter, right? Not the camera guy.
Not the camera guy, the actual writer.
I don't know his name.
I do not like him. I don't like the way he treats his partner either.
They're not a good couple.
They're not at all.
They're not. They're toxic.
No. It's
and
horrible.
They're like,
it's a toxic
I don't know if we're supposed to not like them or if we're supposed to like them, because it's really hard to like them.
I don't.
I don't like them either.
Literally, when they pop back up, I was like, "Oh, can we just not?" And
I
just
skimmed some of that because I was just like, I don't want to deal with them.
I did ask, like, what happened to the reporter, and then I was like, "Oh, I really don't care."
I really didn't.
Accurate though, like that's also how I felt. I was like, "Oh, they're back, great."
Yeah,
I was pissed that they were back. I was like, because then we spent such a huge section of time. Because they were the gateway to introduce the will again.
And they just feel like C-plot in a weird way.
It does. Yeah. It does. And I'm
like filler. It's like a filler episode.
Oh, gosh. I hate dealing with anything related to them, to be honest. Like, I just feel like they're chasing a story. And what pissed me off more was like when the photographer was like, we may be the only hope that this child has from this cruel world.
And I'm
And
like,
the writer, huh?
I was just like, how do you think that being with your partner, this motherfucker will
That's
explore
what
exactly.
exactly. But see, that was the thing about it, was that I feel like the photographers are really, really compassionate and kind of like self-aware individual, but being with his partner, it makes it worse, because the writer is just like, he was like, oh, I hope you're not thinking that I'm about to have any kids. I told you the first time we made out, we're not about to have kids. And I'm like, okay, like that's a bit harsh. He's just saying, like,
Yeah, that's not
it's
what
an
he said.
innocent kid
Yeah.
who was brought into this world that didn't ask to be brought into this world. So you don't have to go, don't be so pressed on doing this, and you end up harming this child when it's all said and done. But he's like, these people brought it on themselves. Well, Hazel didn't. That's the point I was trying to make. I was like, you idiot. It doesn't have to do with Marco and Alana. It has to do with the fact that he was saying that Hazel didn't actually go out into the world, so you need to make sure that you're doing stuff that's not going to put her in harm's way. We don't care. All he wants is his story, which is, and I'd be damned if I'm in the middle of having an intimate moment with someone and you sitting there talking about work. You have lost your mind.
You want to watch me leave the room?
You have lost your mind if you think that's going to happen.
Like,
You're not
read,
gonna get to
read
the
the room. Read the room. Here.
Read the room. You had this man bent over on a desk.
He bent over.
Bent over, tooted up.
Being like, what do you think about this store? I'm like, you don't do this back here. You don't get up in me and pay attention.
I'm like, there's no way. I said, he's
Maybe
so
that's their kind of
inconsiderate.
foreplay, but like I just don't know who's
A weird flex.
kind of foreplay that really is.
I'm not
Nobody
into
in their
it.
right mind who want to be, oh yeah, you could bend me over, have me tooted up on the desk, and let's talk about work.
Not tooted up.
Huh?
Not
Bend over on
tooted.
the desk and you're talking about my job? That's a quick way for me, like, don't even worry about it. I'm good. I'm good.
I'll be like the
I got a
dinosaur.
drawer, it's
I'll
fine.
be like the dragon. I'll do myself. Don't worry.
Yep, yeah.
I'm going head back here and do it.
He just closes the door and he opens his drawer.
That would have been better.
He says, bye.
That would
Done.
have been better. That would have been much
funny.
better. Who else kind of?
I love Gus. Can we talk about Gus?
Gus continues to be amazing.
I just love how
Yeah.
fierce he tries to be sometimes. And like it seems like he can perfectly be fierce if he wants to, but he's a tiny little fluffy seal. And it just gets me.
I died when he looked at the prince and said, I'm not scared of you. I'm scared of him.
Of him.
Yeah.
And Prince Robot was like,
Really.
you asshole.
I
You
mean,
thought it hurt his feelings.
he's amazing as a character. He goes feral sometimes and you're just like, okay.
I'm not trying to get attached to him.
Yeah.
I've been attached since the first time I read it. I have a Funko
Yeah.
Pop of him and everything, so I am prepared to cry later. It's fuzzy too. It's one of those flocked pops, so and he has the gigantic axe.
Yeah,
like
that's
twice
a
his
no
height.
for me. He's adorable and he's a sweetheart, and that's exactly the reason why I refuse to get attached to him.
I'm
I-
just ready to
I don't
cry.
know,
I mean,
yeah.
I already cried today. I'm ready to do that later. We're fine. It's fine, I swear.
I really like Gus. I really like him. And I hope that nothing happens to Gus, but I kind of feel like he's going to meet a horrible death.
Listen,
No, he's gonna live to a very old age and die in his sleep. It's just we don't know he's 90 already. It's okay.
Oh, and talking about age, what is it? What's the babysitter's name? It doesn't matter.
Isabel.
Isabel.
Isabel. Okay,
Mhm.
so they were talking about and what I mean by they, Alana and Marco were talking about Isabel being her age,
Mhm.
and that I can't remember which one. I think it's Marco thinks that she is older than what she presents, and she's been around a lot longer. And I'm curious because I was wondering that a little bit ago, like because she just seems, although she seems like a teenager, she just seems very wise.
I think she's been dead longer than what they think.
Well,
Yeah.
and
I
I
agree.
think he even said that she might be older than them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she's
So,
been
like,
dead
who
longer.
knows?
Because you got to think the war was going on before Marco and Alana were born.
Right.
Well, and the
Yeah.
way she talks about stuff, like it's obvious she's been observing people for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like she has too much insight and knowledge for
Yeah.
Mhm.
someone that had been dead for 20 years or something, I feel
I
like.
agree.
Still don't
I
trust
agree.
her.
I don't trust her either.
Still just like, yeah, you know. But I do have a question for y'all. What do y'all think about Grandma staying? Or is that in 6 or 5?
Oh, we've been
And
sort of
six.
going back and forth.
Okay.
6. You know, I'm not surprised. I think his grandmother or his mother, Hazel's grandmother, was looking for some solace and some purpose.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
she lost her husband, and she kind of had some feelings for the author. He ends up dying right in front of her,
Mhm.
and I think that even though she loves Hazel, she loves Alana, she loves Marco, I think that in that facility she really was finding her purpose.
Mhm.
And I think that a lot of people who end up being, when you I think it's a little bit of commentary too on parents. Like I think that you give your life for your kids. And I feel like for a lot of people who are parents or deal with or raise kids, you know what I'm saying? Some type of capacity, when your kids are gone and they become adults, it's almost like you refine yourself after that, because
Mhm.
who you were prior to kids, who you become when you have kids, you have to work back to, well, who am I now without my children? Because it's like when you have kids, it's not all of your identity, but a big part of your identity is being a parent. You know what I'm saying? Because it shapes everything that you do, all decisions that you make. That's who you're constantly thinking of. So I thought it was dope for her I feel like she found something that she could call her own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna say this: when I moved out and then I had to move back, I could see like the change in my parents
Mhm.
because they were empty nesters for so long
Mhm.
and they had found a new thing to do other than yeah, they were still worried about their kids, as all parents will be.
Mhm.
Um, but their lives didn't center around their kids anymore.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
I've even noticed that with my parents. Like, the older I get, it's funny, like how, like, in a good way, like, they still had their identity when I was a kid, but you can see them, like, finding what their new stuff is, because they don't have
yeah.
to worry about you constantly. And even when I go back, like, as an adult, it's different, because it's like, well, yeah, you're still our kid, but also, as
You're
my
an
mom
adult.
says,
Yeah.
you're an
Yeah.
adult now, and I'm not going to parent you anymore.
Yep.
Right.
I will give you advice, and I do not. You're gonna do with that advice what you will. Like my parents do not parent us, like, at all.
You know what? It's still kind of parenting.
It is, but not in the, like, I don't know. I guess I feel like they're never gonna, like, call me up and, like, yell at me for doing
Yeah.
something anymore. Like, that kind of parenting is not happening.
My mom would still do that, but
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
my mom. Yeah, my mom. So
I'm
I'm
like,
like, I wish I could relate to
I
that.
just got yelled at last week, bro. So like,
I mean, if I did something real dumb, she'd probably yell at me. But for the most part, they're just like, I'll give you my advice and what I would do, and go forth. And I'm like, okay.
not
I wish
so
my parents
far.
were like that.
what'd you say, Ashley?
I said I wish more parents were like that.
Yeah.
When you get older, it's like, you're an adult now. I can't tell you what to do or how to do it. I could only give you my life perspective, what I've been
Yeah.
through, give you some advice, and at the end of the day, the decision is in your hands. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But some parents, aka my mother,
Don't give a
Can't
shit.
handle that.
listen, nah, it's about, you're not gonna do this, you're not gonna do. I'll be like, girl, I'm 30 years old.
I
You
have
got
to remind them, especially my sister who helped raise me. I'd be like 31, 30 fucking 1.
Now, I do feel like my brother struggles with me being an adult more than like my mom does. He's 8 years older than me though, so.
And it was interesting because like when I lived 1,500 miles away, my mother was like, so yeah, no. And I'm like, I don't understand why you think you have any say in this, but
Funny. You cute.
yeah. And I really and truly believe that if her hand could come through the phone and smack me on the head, she would have.
We'll do it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Listen, let's talk about the ending of Volume 6.
Oh, pregnant. Pregnant.
I said, I know not. I know this girl's not pregnant.
Yes, the babies.
Oh.
We love to see it.
Nah.
Really?
Yes.
I forgot that was the ending of Volume 6 too. I don't know how I stopped
too.
reading after Volume 6 because I'm so like, how?
We need more chaos.
What are they gonna do now?
Mhm.
Yes. Those people just
I
running
just
around.
was like, do we not have any form of protection in the
control.
world here?
We
Absolutely
don't.
not, because nobody uses any type of birth control.
What's a birth control? We're trying to save the world. We might die tomorrow.
Just
Listen,
was like, man, y'all need
what's
some
not
birth
today?
control.
You
'cause
might
it's
die
not-
tomorrow. That's the
Well,
slogan.
apparently it was the first and only time they had sex since they came back together after Hazel went missing. So like, one and done, they're pregnant. But like, yeah, seriously, we know
Literally.
interspecies can have babies now, obviously. Are they all just, where is the birth control? Are they all just having babies every single time?
Listen, the slogan is bust a nut today, you might not make it till tomorrow.
I
Okay?
cannot.
That's the
I
slogan.
cannot.
Bust a nut today.
I literally was
Tomorrow
like,
ain't promised.
I said not. They literally had sex one time,
They tow it
and
down.
this girl ended up
Tow it-
pregnant.
Well,
When-
we know it can happen.
It can happen. It can happen. It
Yeah.
it
And
can
because-
happen.
Because they hadn't had relations since Hazel was missing, you
Yeah.
know. He probably, everybody, it was fertile ground.
Yeah, but see, now I'm just wondering about her period and how long her cycle is, and like, was she ovulating? Like, really, like everything was perfect and it just happened.
Okay,
Who knows?
let
It
me
could
tell
be
y'all,
backed up in there. We don't know.
let me tell you something.
Well, and they have different anatomy, maybe. So
Some people, it really takes one time. I can tell you, I know exactly when I got pregnant. That's how I know it. I know the day that I got pregnant.
oh,
That-
I do too, but I was trying at that point for my
Oh,
son,
no,
so like
no.
I knew exactly.
We live very different lives because I swear to God, if there's even a chance, my ass is going to get the plan B like the next day, and I'm like,
Listen,
absolutely
I
not.
don't want nobody taking up residence in this uterus.
So this is no.
They're gonna get an
building
eviction
here.
notice. An eviction notice.
That's how I feel.
Oh, nobody
Immediately,
making
I am
plans.
like, that broke. We are going to the store and we are buying Plan B immediately.
Listen,
Yeah, no.
listen.
What you're not gonna do is bust a nut up in these guts. That's what you're not gonna
I
do.
told my partner they're getting snipped and they're just gonna have to deal with it because I'm not dealing with it. So it's just
Snipping
what you
through
do.
these nuts on an open table go.
This video's gonna get flagged. Let me tell you. You know my live last night got flagged.
What got flagged?
Cause you talk
My
about
November
Trump.
wrap up got live. My November wrap up I did live last night and it got
I
flagged.
think it's because you were talking
I
about
don't
Trump.
understand how that got
It's
flagged.
because I was talking about Trump.
Damn.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, weren't you talking about a book?
Yeah, I was talking about 2 books.
you know they're
Damn.
cracking down on books now, so
That's what it felt like because I
Not
really
cracking
didn't do. I didn't do
down.
anything off. I didn't do anything off the chain last night. I literally was doing my November wrap up. That was it. that was it. Talked a little too much about politics, and
That was good though, actually.
Yeah.
I was here for that. I was supposed to go to sleep, and I was like, I'm still into it.
Yep. It was a good conversation.
You just got those bros in there reporting it, apparently.
Right, reporting and flagging it. Dude bros. Was there anything else that stood out to y'all about the read of 5 and 6?
I'm
Anything
in
that you're
love.
looking forward to?
I'm in love with Grandma's tattoos. Just
Yeah,
living
she
her
got
she's having on her body. I was like, holy crap.
I was at one point when she showed up in her towel. I was like, "Did she have those already?" I was so confused if I just missed them. But they look natural on her. Like they look perfect.
I thought the same thing. I was like, "Wait a minute, what? Granny was tatted this whole time?"
That's what I thought. Yeah.
And then there was a moment when where I didn't trust the little centipede lady and the teacher. There was a moment I ain't touch her. I ain't trust her. And then I was like, oh, that's so sad when Hazel was like, my grandma read all these books. She has like 40 copies and she reads them all the time. And I was like, she still wants that one eye guy. But he dead, girl. He ain't coming.
I did not appreciate that teacher criticizing quality of literature.
No, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was just about to say that. I
did not like that.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
It made me so mad.
That was an.
I was like, no.
We're talking about the insect lady, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. Was this in 6 or 5? I have 4 here, and I meant to bring 5, but now I'm too lazy to get up and go get it. But in the shower scene,
yes,
6.
So that's in 5. Was that in 5?
Yes, to 6. You talking
6.
about
the whole landfall place where they're being held is in 6.
All of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that Okay. So that shower scene, I was just like, oh, okay.
Same. Who knew? That's fine. I don't care. But
and when Hazel says, "Oh, you have an Audi,"
and an
priceless. But you know what? That shows the innocence
of a kid,
of children.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just accepts it.
Literally, you're looking for Hazel to say, "I'm confused because what you have up top is not what I would typically see with what you have on the bottom."
Mm-hmm.
And instead, literally, you get this. You get the innocence of a child coming in and saying, "Oh, you have an Audi," and you can't help but to laugh because it's literally that's how kids are.
Yeah.
They don't notice because they haven't been conditioned and ruined like adults have been ruined.
Yeah, she doesn't even question that she's in the women's showers or anything like
no,
that. She's just
nothing.
like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Nothing. And it was interesting because
I mean, I feel like that's how most kids handle that. Would handle that.
They do.
They would, yeah.
Like they don't care. It's not conditioned into them to care about this.
No, it's not.
And I just had a lady today at the bookstore. She was looking for a Christmas present for her grandson. And the only book that she saw, she was interested in this series, but the only one that she saw was Unicorns and Princesses. And she was like, well, I'm looking for something for my grandson. And I was like, what's wrong with this? And
gender binary.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I get literally in my job, I get so frustrated.
Yeah.
With that. Like, oh, well, she needs princesses and he needs to have trucks.
Right.
Why can't they just have both?
Right.
What is the big deal?
And
literally, I just buy my nephew whatever because I'm like, I do not care.
And why can't he color unicorns?
I come from a very binary Black community. That shit would not fly.
Me too.
That shit would not fly. Like, I've tried. I do value myself, and like I love being an auntie, but I gotta do like slick shit because like it'll just be a conversation and then it just goes out of pocket and then I'm ready to fight because on site is on site and it's just like
It's
It's just a lot.
it gets wild, you know. Like I actually got into a disagreement with somebody at my job on Tuesday because they were talking about. First of all, it pissed me off because they were like, um, this single parent thing. It was the way they were trying to low key, like they were saying that women are incapable of raising their sons because
Mhm.
they need a male figure in the household because a woman can't teach a man how to be a man.
Oh God.
And I said, y'all, like trying to remain professional in a situation like that is like you want to talk about me just wanting to just cut, like just start like cussing, like just I just want to go
Ooh.
off. I was like, I can't.
Like
I'm
seriously,
at
does a
work.
man teach them how to pee in a bowl better than like a woman can? Like
That's
seriously,
what I'm
what
saying.
else do you
I'm like, what are
need?
you teaching? What are
Oh
you
my
teaching your
god.
son that I, as a woman, am incapable of teaching your son? Oh, he needs that father figure in the house.
Is it like
So
You're teaching him to respect women too much, and that's a problem.
it has to be some like no, that gets me mad. Probably because I have a son, but like I'm
yeah,
not obviously a single parent or anything like that. But like if it's like the toxic masculinity stuff or like they have to like sports or all this kind of shit, my husband doesn't even do that. Like he will never touch sports TV. And then you have like my mom who was a single mother when she raised us, and my brother's perfectly fine and she will do all the sports stuff. Like I don't
I hate.
understand
Yeah,
people.
I hate comments like that because then I was like, I said, just be honest. I said, you subscribe to traditional gender roles,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, um, what they say? What did they say to me? They were like, it was something they said, and I was like, um, and I said to them, I said, just tell me that you subscribe to traditional gender roles and just get it. No, I don't. I said, but you do though,
Mm-hmm.
but you do because you're saying like there needs to be like I as a single woman could not raise. I could not raise if I had my son. You didn't feel like you don't feel like I would be capable of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So
That
it's
is. I
it,
mean, just let's just take a quick look at households that have a son and a father and how fucked up.
those situations usually end up being sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and I don't want to disparage any fathers or anything like that, but the reality is women can raise a boy just as well as men
Uh-huh,
can raise a boy.
uh-huh.
Why can't just people raise their children? And
I,
Right.
that's I mean that's the
That's
thing
my
that I
thing. Like,
think
I think
that
like,
anybody who wants to
why
do
do
it,
we have to make everything so binary? Like, why can't just folks
Right.
I don't know. Like
raise
I
But
don't
their
I don't
children?
know.
but if
I
you're
don't
gonna
believe in
make
it.
it, if you're gonna make it binary, why 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 is a male better at raising a boy than a
Mhm.
female?
I just think that listen,
Let people
you
raise
teach
their
your child
kids.
compassion,
Mm-hmm.
empathy, right from wrong, like
Respect.
respect for other humans, consent.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, it's kind of like we should be more concerned about having people in their lives that teach them these values instead of what is the sex of the person that is doing this
Right.
thing.
Mhm.
Because we get so hooked up on what how a person identifies in terms of their gender or what their physical anatomy is and whether this person should be doing this and this person should be it's kind of like but y'all missing out on teaching you kids key things that they should be having.
Mhm.
No empathy, no compassion, no sense of respect for other people. I just feel like
No, the world doesn't revolve around you.
toxic masculinity. Oh my gosh. Well, it's sickening. Like I just remain single for the rest of my life.
I feel that.
Not remain.
I listen
I feel that.
because the way that this world is set up, child, ain't no
I,
way.
I just talked to one of my
I just get disheartened when people feel like raising a kid depends on what you got, what your anatomy looks like.
Mhm.
And it
Whether you're
bothers
capable of doing it.
Yeah.
me. I think your capability and what you have in your brain is what matters more than anything else. But I don't know. I just don't. I just think we make things binary too
Mm,
much. That doesn't like
Mhm.
fucking need to be. Like we're
mhm,
out here
Yeah.
just doing too much and just let
mhm.
motherfuckers live. Like
Yeah.
I don't get it. I just don't understand it. I don't think I ever will.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I
it's
think
me. I'm not putting that on anyone. I'm just
yeah.
saying.
And I think we in this chat have all been raised on the binary and
Yes.
all identify
Yes.
as something,
Mhm.
male or female, if not non-binary or genderqueer. I think, I mean, we identify when we were raised because that was what was put into us
Mhm.
as female, whether or not we felt comfortable with that or not, or knew that we shouldn't feel attached to a gender.
Yep.
And as I'm getting older, I'm I am understanding that how toxic the gender binary actually is and
Mhm.
how restricting
Mhm.
it is. And
Mhm.
I don't think, and prior to working at a bookstore, honestly, and retail, honestly, I didn't realize how restricting it was just because that was not my experience. So, anyway, I'm gonna step off my soapbox now.
I mean,
Well,
I'm here for your ministry.
mhm. Is there anything else that stood out to y'all in volume 5 and 6? Since you've
Yes,
been here
one
for
thing
an
I
hour?
wanted to mention for volume 6, because I mentioned this last live, is that some of the stuff that Hazel talks about is like foreshadowing stuff that's going to happen. And I was getting worried about like Alana and stuff because they talk about Hazel going to landfall with her grandma. And I was like, when is this going to happen? What is this? But we also had like the few-year time jump, and they're on landfall in volume 6 in that facility. So that is what she was talking about. And I was like, click.
Oh,
That
yeah,
was
you're
Yeah.
right. You said her mother.
Why
I
did that
was
not
so
click in my
worried last
brain?
time, and that's what it was.
Yeah, that's what it was. You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, and she kind of scared me when she was like, "I wouldn't see my father for a few more years." I'm like, "Oh, bro."
And then they did the
that's what
time
we're talking
jump,
about.
so
Yeah, yeah. And they did the
Yeah,
time
because
jump.
I was confused with that
Yeah.
as well. And I was just like, wait a minute, you were gonna see him for a few more years, but now
Yeah,
I
it
was
was.
just
Yeah, it was a time
I
jump.
ain't gonna lie, I cried when he pulled out the little bear. I said,
Oh, yeah.
"No!"
yeah.
Oh yeah, he's like, it's probably really confusing for you, and you probably
you don't know who I am.
And she said, "Daddy," and I said,
Oh,
that was
"Oh,
so. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot."
These two volumes were, and I'm
Emotional.
not an emotional reader
Yeah.
by any
Mhm.
stretch of the imagination, but these two volumes, I have to admit that they did tug on my
Yeah,
heartstrings
they were super
a
emotional.
lot,
Mm-hmm.
a lot. So I'm kind of curious as to what the others are going to hold,
Oh, geez.
and if I'm going to need a box of tissues nearby.
Probably will.
9, apparently. We need all the tissues.
We need all the tissues. So the way that we're going to do the rest of this, for those y'all who are watching and those who may watch the playback, there's a lot of people who are in there watching the playback. After they catch up reading, I think that's what happens is that we do the lives and people catch up and then they come and they watch the playback. So we're taking a break for the rest of this month, just because it's the next time that we would be able to do a live show is just around the holiday season, and it'd be too complicated. So we're gonna do 7 and 8 at the beginning of next year, and then we are going to do volume 9 as its separate live show, just because it feels like it needs its own live show. So that's how it'll be. We will let y'all know soon, whatever dates we do end up deciding on for those last 2 live shows. Sounds good to everybody?
Yep.
Sounds like a plan.
I'm excited.
All right, y'all. Thanks for being here and talking with us. We'll be back to talk about 7 and 8 next
7
year.
and 8.
Have a happy holidays if you know.
Happy
We will
holidays.
see y'all as a group together.
Yeah.
Until next year. So happy holidays.
Bye.
Did Ashley just like leave?
She just left and didn't end it.
She must have hit the wrong button.
Somebody text her.
I've done that before. Honestly,
I have to.
I've done that.